everyone. Thank you for joining me at Creative Stampin' Designs. How's everyone doing today? I have another fun fold that I'm going to do for you today. It's actually another pretty easy one. Last week, the one I did, I had a couple people actually cased it and they came out great. And I love when somebody copies the card and posts it so I can see pictures of it. I'm going to be using the Poinsettia Petals bundle that's available now in the, hi Rosie, thanks for joining. It's available now in the August to December mini catalog. This will only be available until January 5th, or January 4th, I'm sorry, January 4th. The new catalog starts on January 5th. So I'm going to get started. And just a reminder, we still, Stampin' Up! Extended the online extravaganza, the online, I guess like a Black Friday sale. Hi Barbara, thanks for joining. And it's good until 11:59 tonight, or 11:50 Mountain Time. So you have to go where your time zone. I did do a little bit of stamping and I colored the one in. I didn't do the others. I'm using shimmery white paper. I did stamp them ahead of time because I used soft suede ink and I wanted to make sure it was good and dry before I colored them. I didn't want the brown smearing. So let me get started here. So I have lots of pieces. It's all going to be on my blog Friday. Again, it's a really easy one. It looks complicated with everything I have, but it's not. So I'm just going to adhere the DSP. This is the Poinsettia Place DSP. I'm going to adhere it to, hi Jamie, thanks for joining, to a panel of, or an old olive mat. Just using some Stampin' Seal. I'm getting all tongue-tied here. Is everybody ready for Thanksgiving? You know, tonight, once I pick my daughter up from work, I got to get all my pies and cheesecake made. I wasn't going to make that much this year because it's just us. We're not having anybody over. Trying to keep it really small. But I was kind of threatened in a way if I don't make my apple pie and pumpkin pie, because this is the only time of the year they get it. And same thing with, I make a pumpkin swirl cheesecake. So again, I'm taking, this is another panel of the Poinsettia Place DSP, and this is a piece that's going to go on the card front. I had another design all set up for today using this. And one of my team members posted the exact design with the same paper, everything I was going to use yesterday. Thank you, Rosie. Tom does all the cooking for you, Rosie? My husband cooks the turkey. It goes on the grill. That's the extent. I get it ready, he takes it, he puts it on the grill, and I do the rest. Then he takes it off the grill. So I guess he'll say he does the cooking. All right, so this is the card base. It is 5.5 by 5 1/4, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And this is it. And then all the rest, this is going to overlay on the top, well, underlay. I'm just going to adhere this inside because we're not, the panel of where I put the sentiment, I have to center it on this underneath. So I'm just going to adhere this. As I said, this is another really easy one. Yeah, like I said, I'm not making as much as I usually do. And I'm altering some of my recipes because my son's girlfriend is vegetarian. So I want to make sure that she's going to be eating things. So I changed just a few things instead of, more vegetables with dinner. All right. And then this piece, once I go in, we'll get, let me make sure I get it the right way. Sorry, I got to make sure I have this going the right way. Okay. So it's going to go this way. It's going to come down. It's going to set right in the center. I'm going to have to use my graph paper to make sure I get it in the center. Love this grid paper. So we're going to put it right there. And then this piece is going to fold down on it. Okay, so then this whole piece will lift up. That's the extent of the card, really. So I'm going to set that on the side. Let me just color these real quick. And I don't want too much color on the poinsettia. I want it kind of just a hint of color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color it, but then I'm going to use my color lifter to lift the color off. If that makes sense. So it'll just have, and I just used the wrong color. This goes on this part. That's okay. Actually, before I do go too far, let me restamp that leaf so it has a chance to dry. Hopefully I have a piece cut. All right. We're just going to stamp this real quick so it'll dry while I'm coloring the other one. I wasn't paying attention what I was doing there. Oops, sorry. All right, so we're just going to set that on the side so it dries, and we'll finish doing the flower first. I always, when I'm doing the poinsettias, I like to stamp, well, they're supposed to be green, the leaves, an extra set for the leaves in the back, because if you look at a poinsettia, all it really is all the same poinsettia leaves. Just, like I said, I'm just putting a little bit of color because I'm going to lift it, most of it off. I see comments going by and I'm not keeping up with them again. I'm sorry. Probably going to go back and read that. Yeah, I saw the lifting of the color. I saw Amy do it one time. And I really like that it just, like I said, just gives it a little bit of color. Actually, I am going to be able to use that one because I don't need all the leaves since I cut an extra one. Now I'm just going to go around with the color lifter, and it will let me try using the other end. It will lighten as it dries. It's going to look actually a little darker when I first color it, but it does lighten up a bit when it dries. So has everybody been able to take advantage of the extravaganza? I know I placed a nice order yesterday. And this does go pretty quick. You got lots of cardstock and embellishments, Jamie? I actually didn't need cardstock. But what I did need is my blends. I needed some of them. The tips were a little, I've let others use them and they got a little smushed, I guess. And some of them got a little dry. So I did stock up on blends, and I did get some cardstock, and I replaced a few more. I still have some of the old stamp pads. There. So I did order a couple more new ones. And I have, believe it or not, I have some of the really old stamp pads, like the felt ones that I was still using. Well, they still work, so I did replace those. Sometimes the felt ones, I do better with the felt stamp pads than the new sponge ones. But I noticed, Jamie, I know you've had problems before that your stamp pads used to bubble, used to tell me they bubble. I never had trouble with that. But are your stamp pads, anybody's stamp pads seem to be drying up a little bit? Not as juicy right now? I don't know if it's because of the weather. Since, you know, it's been cold and dry, the heat's been on, but the other day I had to sit and ink up some of my stamp pads again. Yeah, I'm just going to do the 4 leaves on this. And just give it a little bit of shading. Most of this is going to go underneath the flower, so you're not going to see all of it. I don't know if you can see how most of the color, I'm going to go over it a little bit more. Most of the color did lift from the poinsettia. Just still a little bit, but I wanted, like I said, a very light tone. I didn't get some of the, there's still some dark in on the edges. This is another one of those non-traditional color Christmas cards that I tend to do. I like traditional colors, but I tend to do a lot more that are non-traditional. I don't know why. I guess just to be different. And then I'm just going to take my dies, poinsettia dies, and use this one for the flower and this one for the petals. I'm just going to go cut them out real quick, but I want to get them lined up. This one here can be a little tricky sometimes. I'm sure it'll move as soon as I go by my die cutting machine. Alright, I'm just going to go cut these out real quick. I'll be right back. It's actually supposed to be rainy and warmer here for the next couple days. I'm not even feeling like Thanksgiving or Christmas. It's, well, not Christmas yet, but it seems to be a little too warm for me. Thanksgiving should be at least like 40s or 50s, and we're supposed to have 60s. Alright, so we're not going to need that one for now. And I'll just set the dies on the side. Alright, and then I'm going to take my paper snips and I'm just going to snip the leaves carefully so that I can adhere them behind the flower. We don't need that one. All right. Is anybody else having this warmer weather like we are here? This is just not... I mean, I don't mind it, but it's Thanksgiving. It's supposed to be cold. All right, so we're just gonna take some of the leaves. I don't know if I'm gonna use all of them. I'm gonna pick and choose the best ones that came out, I guess. And I'm just gonna adhere them just behind the flower, with some glue dots, maybe. There we go. Okay. And then I'll assemble everything. I like to put the flower on last, just to make sure of the placement. And we'll put that one, I guess, just like that. I may end up using all of them. And just put another one peeking out here. Here's the bigger one. You're in the 50s, Rosie? Yeah, that's more Thanksgiving weather to me. The 50s is more... Oops, that one didn't get quite low enough. We went the one year, I want to say it had to be 30 degrees, maybe even colder, and we went to the Macy's Day Parade. It was cold. It was a little bit breezy, and I remember my son he was only like 18 months old, and we had him in a backpack carrier, and we were walking around the city. I've been to the parade a couple times. And after the last time, I said, okay, I've had enough. I've done the parade a few times. I've had enough. Have you ever gone, Jamie? I know you're right there near New York. All right, I'm going to adhere this piece with just some liquid glue. We're just going to put it right at the bottom and make sure the 3 sides are equal, because you're not going to see the top at all. That's going to be covered by the top panel. Excuse me. And I think what I'm going to do, I know I forgot to take it out, but I'm going to use my tear and tape, because this piece gets opened. I don't know, it gets a lot of wear. So I think I'm going to use tear and tape for this part. Just want to make sure, but it should be. So this is going to go here. Yep, it's going to cover the whole thing. So I'm just going to put a piece on the top, piece on the bottom, just so it gets that extra, the extra adhesive so it holds. Hi, Kiko. Thanks for joining. Jamie, you've never been to the parade? Living in New York, too? Wow. Yeah, I prefer sitting in a heated house, too, watching it. Usually, I'm cooking while it's on, and my daughter loves to sit and watch it and call me in every 2 minutes. Oh, you got to see this. Oh, you got to see that. The one year we did go, my son and my nephew my son didn't really want to go, so my nephew came over. My son was younger. So my nephew came over and stayed with him. So they got the turkey on the grill for us, and I told them about I make pumpkin crescent rolls, homemade pumpkin crescent rolls. Told them what to do to get those in. I had stuff ready for sweet potato, all this stuff ready, and my nephew mixed the ingredients for the pumpkin crescent rolls. He mixed it up with the sweet potato mixture. They came out good, but when I got home, I had so much rushing to do because the crescent rolls have to rise. So after that, I said, no more. I'm not leaving you guys. There, so that's going to get folded just like that. And then I'm going to wrap a piece of ribbon around that. Actually, I might even I don't have it out. I'm going to have to cut a piece. But I think I might put a piece of DSP on that. I know it's an inch. I'll see once I get it together. Now, you know what? I think I'm going to put the ribbon. Once again, I'm not tying a bow this week, even though last week's bow went better than I expected. Okay, so we're just going to, I have a piece of the, I picked the ribbon, I wanted the white ribbon with the silver because the center of the flower has silver in it. Yeah, I don't have my third finger here, or my third hand to do knots. How many of you, when you're making a knot or a bow, call somebody just to hold the bottom part in place? I'm always yelling. If my daughter's within ear reach, I'm always yelling for her to come and hold her finger there. All right, we're going to get this. There we go. And I'll just put a glue dot just to hold it. Because this isn't one of those that I can sneak in the back and put adhesive, because then the card will stick together. Yeah, it's a little too loose. I'm going to have to make it a little tighter. We're cheating. Use this for my third hand today. If I can get it in. There we go. All right, hopefully that'll hold it tight enough. Oh my goodness. I did a better job last week making a bow than I am this week with a knot. It keeps slipping out of my hand. There we go, that's better. And then I'm just going to put, like I said, I'm going to put a glue dot just underneath, just to hold it in place. I do that a lot. I put glue dots right under my bows or my knots so that they stay where I want them. They don't go moving all over. There. Just give it a little trim. So you don't need that big of a... I like long tails for bows, but when I'm doing a knot like this, it's got to stay right on the top where I want it. Okay, now I'm going to adhere this. But let's get the, because this is going to be off the panel a little bit. I need to stamp the sentiment. And I got a piece, again, larger than what I needed. And it is the shimmery white. I'm using all shimmery white so everything matches. I figured instead of sitting and brushing Winkostella all over my flower, I would just use the shimmery white. And again, I'm going to stamp it with soft suede ink, and then I'll trim it down. I should be able to get this pretty straight. Small piece, so and I did nice and straight. You know, while I have this out, let me stamp the sentiment on the inside. And I'm going to use, again, another one from the Poinsettia Petals. May magic and wonder bloom this holiday. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I need to get myself another one of the D blocks. This one here, I'm afraid I'm going to stick my fingers in the ink when I go to ink it up. And we're stamping this in the, oops, sorry, I'm making the camera shake, sorry. Stamp that in the soft suede ink also. Put this right in the center. Let's make sure we try to get it straight. And if not, the paper has two sides. I'm going to put it up a little so that, because of having to sign the card, this is a much smaller piece than what I normally use. That looks pretty straight. Right, take that off. I'll clean it later, but I'm gonna need the petals again. Oops. There we go. All right, and I think this was a bit unplanned, as per usual. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp in petal pink. I'm just going to stamp the poinsettia flower over the sentiment. And this was, I just decided to do this just now. Yep, I'm going to stamp it off once. Just, it's very, very light. You can barely see it if you get, I don't know, you can very lightly see it, but just enough. All right. So put that on the side. Now, all right, let me trim this down. Oh, I have my paper trimmer. I'm not brave enough to just cut it like Jamie does, because I'm always afraid I'm going to go crooked. Jamie's the fussy cutter. One day, Jamie, I'm going to send you all my fussy cutting. Thank you, Akiko. All right, so we're going to adhere this to the bottom here. Put it on with a couple dimensionals. Okay, I need my little pokey tool thing. They get stuck to my finger. Make sure it stays in place. I've been doing more fussy cutting, Jamie. I really have. Oh, almost went upside down. That would not have been good. All right, I'm just going to set this on the bottom. just like that. And then my poinsettia is going to go right about like that. So I'm only going to put dimensionals on this side of it. I don't want anything, obviously, on this side. I'm trying to see which... I'm going to take some of these off. I have too many. There's too many for me. I don't mind some leaves, but I guess I went a little overboard there. Alright, so I'm going to put it just like that. So what I'm going to do is flip it like this, and I'll put the dimensionals on where so I know where to put them. And I'm going to actually put them so it overlaps with the flower and the leaves, so I have a little extra protection of them staying, the leaves staying attached. If I were to lose a leaf, though, it wouldn't be that bad. There's enough there. There we go. Just put it like that, and actually I'm going to put one up here. I'm a dimensional person. I like to use, I'd rather use extra to make sure something's going to stay than not enough. Take a chance of them, of it, something falling off. Alright, so we're just, how do I have this? There we go, just like that. And before I push it all the way down, yep, all the dimensionals are on the other side. And then I'm going to add, oops, sorry, I'm making a lot of noise here today. I'm going to add one of the flowers, the beaded pearls in the center with a glue dot. I love these beaded pearls, but I really wish they came with adhesive. There we go, just like that. And then I'm going to add, I'm going to add a couple of rhinestones, and I want your opinion before I add them. I couldn't decide whether I should go with the champagne rhinestones, regular rhinestones, or the elegant faceted gems. So while I'm adhering the center, help me out here. What should I do? Champagne. Okay, now what I'm going to have to make sure this is going to be covered by that. So I'm actually using this as a guide up here because I have the edge right there. So I know right where I have to go with it. I'm just going to put it, so I'm going to center it this way. It's actually centered this way too. And then you won't see that part once it closes. Give it a good rub. The table's very wobbly today. I am so sorry. I'm trying not to hit it and I keep... There. Okay, so we're going to add a couple. Jamie and Rosie say champagne. So champagne it is. And we're just going to add a couple. Just to give it, Christmas cards should have a little bit of a bling, a little extra bling. There. And we'll put one more. I'm just going to put one here. Okay, so that's the card. And I did, again, do part of the envelope. I have a piece of the Poinsettia Place DSP for the envelope flap. And I did already color this, but that's because, and let me do it while I'm in, oh, let me do it here. What I'm going to do is I save my masks that I use. You can see I've used them multiple times. I save them until the back is no longer sticky. And I'm just going to set this on the top. And then make sure my envelope's the right way. I'm going to take my brown ink and I'm just going to stamp the leaves over it, and then I will color those in with some green of the old olive. And I just want one over there, but I don't want to, well, that's going to be tricky. We're just going to stick this over the top of those, just so I don't get any, because I wanted one over this way. There we go. Whoops. Okay, now I ripped that mask, so that one will be getting, well, this one here, you can see how many I've used this one a lot. And I save my masks because, well, thank you, Barbara. I save my masks because I don't like fussy cutting things like this too often. I don't mind once in a while, but I always decide to do masking when I'm in a rush. So that's why I like to save them. So while that's drying a little bit, I'm going to adhere the panel to the envelope flap. Just like that, just to give it and now we're going to take a chance that that's dry enough. I would have done it before, but I wanted you to see how I do the masking. And I'm just going to use my old olive just to color the leaves in a little bit. And I did put the, I guess it's like an acetate sheet from my old Stampin' I kept that piece because it just comes in handy. But otherwise, I would use just a piece of cardstock or something just to put inside the envelope, so then the blends don't bleed through. If it does bleed through, it stops on the piece of cardstock. Put a piece of scrap paper, little piece of even like copy paper would work. And I'm just going to color in here the green. I'm just going to go over the little lines a little bit, just to give a little bit of dimension. Okay. And there we have it. Nice, simple fun fold. And the envelope to match. I hope you like this and you'll give it a try. It's really easy. All the measurements will be on my blog on Friday. I know I didn't give you all the measurements I used, I know, as I was going. But everything will be posted on my blog on Friday. Thanks, Jamie. along with the video will be there also. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope everybody has a... Thank you, Rosie. I hope you're going to try it soon, Rosie. I liked the last one you did. Hope everybody has a very happy Thanksgiving, a safe one. If you're getting together in big crowds, just stay safe. All right, and I will see you next Wednesday around the same time at 4 o'clock, and I'm not sure what I'm making then, but we will see. Enjoy your day tomorrow, and hopefully some of yous have off on Friday, so you have a nice long weekend. And if you haven't taken advantage of the extravaganza, remember it ends tonight at 11:50 p.m. Mountain Time. All right? Thanks everybody for joining. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next week. Bye.